Once again, I welcome you all to this class. Thank you all for showing up. I want to apologize for the time change. It was abrupt. I should have thought about it and sent out a notification earlier during the week, but it completely skipped my mind until about an hour before the class started. So I apologize for that. But we're going to make sure we find a time that works for us. Since there are a fewer of us from the US, it's most likely that we're going to be shifting our own time backward by 1 hour. So which means we'll start at our 2 p.m. so that those of you in West Africa can retain your 9 p.m. start time on Saturdays. So from next week, we'll go back to your regular 9 p.m. So once again, sorry about that. So in today's session, we will do a couple of things like I mentioned earlier on. We'll walk through the exercises, and then we'll touch on some introduction to Tonic Solfa. All right, having said that, we have a volunteer who has volunteered to allow us use her submitted assignment for revision today. So we are going to make use of that. Let me pull it up quickly. Kindly confirm if you can see that page.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. For those who are on their phones, I don't know how clear it is, but hopefully you can follow along. So, but you probably might need to be on a computer or a bigger screen to see exactly what's going on. Okay, so the first assignment says, name the following notes found in the treble clef and the bass clef. Okay, so the assignment was to write out the names of the notes. I like what Camille did here. Try to call out the names of the lines and the spaces. That is very good. That kind of give you clues on exactly what you're looking for. And then if you see any note on a particular line or on a particular space, you know where to go. So that's a good way. And it's properly labeled, quite detailed. Okay, the first one, the first note on the treble clef here. Do we agree that this is F? So the owner of this page is not permitted to answer. Others can participate since we are reviewing your work, okay? So I will need some responses as we proceed. All right, awesome. That makes me feel better that you can see it even on the phone. Okay, so the first space on the treble clef is F. If you remember, the first line is a line E, so which means after E comes an F. And if you remember, the acronym we gave it was E, G, B, D, F. Okay? And then we have the space on it. All right. So the first note there is an F. That's correct. And then the next note is on the third line, and it's been established. If you follow the names of the lines, E, G, B. So that is a B. That's correct. All right. Note number 3. Remember that A comes before B. So if the previous one is a B and then the next note is one step lower on this chart here, on this staff, on this treble clef, then one step lower from B is going to be A. So that is correct. And then the next note. So one simple trick to use is that when you get to a particular note, the moment you establish the name of that note, use counting steps either upwards or downwards while you are mentioning the names of the key to help you find the exact position. Where exactly are you at this time? So if this is A and we want to move, you count gently. B on the line, the next space will be a C, and then the next line will be a D. So this note on the line is D. That is correct. And then if the note on the line is D, take a look at the next note. How many lines below or how many steps below does it move? It just moves one step below. So from D, we move one step and we'll come back to C. And from the C, we are moving how many steps again? 1, 2, 3. So from C, if you move 3 steps higher, the space here is C, followed by D on the line. The next space is an E, and then the next line is an F. So this is correct also. All right? And then we come back to the very beginning of the treble clef and the first line of the treble clef is an E, just like we already established. So that's correct. And then you have an octave E. This is quite a simple one. That's an excellent way of describing it. She actually pointed out that that's an octave. I love that. So this is the lower E and this is the octave E. If you count between them, you're going to get exactly an octave. So from the octave, let's move how many steps? If this is an E, moving backwards, D, C, and then B. That can be quite tricky, counting the alphabets backward in reverse order. Okay, so this is correct. That's another B. Now, if you look at it, we have a couple of B's. There was a B at the very beginning, and then here we are coming across another B, so that's correct. And from the B, we come back to the first space, which we already established in the first note as an F, so that's correct too. So if you have this exact naming of notes, okay, on your A portion of the assignment, then you got it right. So we're going to follow the same principle to look out for the names of the notes on the bass clef, counting the notes downwards or upwards, whichever direction the notes are flowing. That's how you get that done. So you remember that the bass clef wraps around the F key. Okay, so that should be your initial cue, though you can decide to begin to count from below, but whichever one works faster for you, that's totally fine. So if the second to the last line, where you have this semicolon like thing wrapped around that line, if that is F and you're counting backwards, that's downwards. From F, you come down to E on the space, okay, and then after that, the next line is going to be a D, so this is correct. All right, and then the first line on the treble, on the bass clef, the first line on the bass clef is established that it is a G, so that's correct. And then we have an octave G here, which is the very note after F, remember that the second to the last, that's line 4 of the bass clef, is a line F. So the space above it is a G. So that's correct. And then the space before the F is an E. This is also correct. Okay? This is a C, the second space on the bass clef. Correct? F note on line F. That's correct. And then if you move one step lower, you come back to E. All right? So if you start from below, if you decide to count from below, from G, line G, the first space is A on the bass clef. So that A is correct. And then if you count upwards, A, the second line is a B, second space is a C, third line is a D. So this is correct, D. And then if you move one step lower on the scale, after D, alphabetically to your left, you come back to C. So this is good. Excellent. And then the next exercise says, the B portion says, write the following notes found in the treble clef. So if we're going to write this on the treble clef, let's see how did we do here. This is the fun part. Okay, G on a line. This is excellent. The treble clef wraps on line G. So if you put your note on that line, the second line of the treble clef, then you are correct. This is good. F on a line. F on a line. Remember that the first line of the treble clef is line E, and the first space of the treble clef is F. But the instruction says write F on a line. So we have to keep counting E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F until we got to the fifth line to get our F written there. So this is correct. Okay, so that's how you keep counting, either upwards or downwards, whatever method works for you, that you're able to just go straight to that note and write the note either on top of the line or in the space. This is perfect. Question number 3 or subsection 3 says F in a space. That's good. That's an F in a space right there. And then we have B on a line. That's correct. That's the third line of the treble clef. That is a B, line B. So if you place your note on that line, that's good. G in a space. So our G was supposed to be in a space and not on a line. So we'll need to correct that. Let me see if we have to annotate. That's number 5, G in a space. So number 5. Remember, E, first line E, F, G on a line, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the only available space for us to put G in a space is going to be above the last line of the treble clef. That's the space. You remember the ledger lines we talked about last week? The imaginary lines either above or below the staff, a treble clef or a bass clef, to enable us put extra notes that cannot be positioned within the 5 lines and 4 spaces. So this is a good example of those type of notes that are outside of the provisions of the 5 lines and 4 spaces. So that's where you find the G in a space, because the only other G that you have within the treble clef is on the line. So she actually got the G correctly, except that it's not in a space. It's on the line. So for us to find another G, we needed to count an octave higher and get out of the last line to get to the space. All right, the next note, E in a space. That's good. This is correct. This is E in a space. You remember how the names of the spaces for treble clef is F, A, C, E. So this is E in a space. And then number 7, C in a space. That's correct also, which is 2 steps from E. E, the line is D, and then the space is C. That's correct. And then number 8, E on a line. That's correct. The first line is line E. So if you place your note there, you got it right. Number 9, A on a space. So I don't know if it was because you were hurrying, but I know you should have gotten all of these correctly. So A on a space should have gone here on this space, a step higher. So I'll give you benefit of the doubt that because you were in a hurry, you didn't have time to review your work before submitting it, but that's okay. So that's A in a space, F-A-C-E. And then the last number 10 says D on a line. So for us to find D on a line, this was going to be our D. This is line B already. So this here will be our line. D. Every good boy deserves favor. Every good boy does fine. D, line D, the last line. So that's where you position that line. So let me put this check mark here and this check mark here, just for reference purposes. Okay, and then the last one, that should take us maybe 3 minutes. Okay, on the bass clef, D on a line. To find D on a line, D is the third line, okay? G, B, D, F, A. Good boy does fine always. Something like that. So D on the third line, that's correct. G in a space, this is also correct because the line on top of which this note sits is line F. And after F, alphabetically, you get to G. So this is correct. Number 2 is correct. F on a line, number 3, that is correct. That's F on a line. Number 4, B on a line. Okay, good boys does fine always. That's also correct. Second line. Second line of the bass clef is line B, correct? And then A on a line, that is also correct. The last line of the bass clef, okay, that is an A because the second to the last line is F, and after F, the space is G, and then the next line is A. So this is correct. All right, number 6, A in a space. This is also correct. The first space on the bass clef, A, remember how we named the spaces of the bass clef? A, C, E, G. All cows eat grass. All right, so this is correct. And then number 7, G on a line. This is correct also. The first line of the bass clef is a line G. And then number 8, E in a space, just before F, just before line F. Put your note there. This is correct. And then C in a space. This is correct also. The second space in the bass clef is the C space. And then the last one, B in a space. She put a question mark there. All right, so let's work that out together. B in a space, let's go back to the very beginning and count from there. The first line of the bass clef is line G, right? And then the first space in the bass clef is A. So if the first space is A, which means the second line of the bass clef is a B, but the instruction says B in a space. So which means we need to keep going, keep moving higher on the scale until we can find a place to position the next B within a space. So if the second line is a B, that means this space right here is C, line D, space E, line F, space G, and then the last line, line A. So the next space in the ledger section is going to be the B in a space. All right, so that's where you find a B in a space. That's the easiest location to find B in a space. Otherwise, we can actually go lower and draw a few ledger lines here and find a place to position our B. But that would be too far away from the bass clef. Hardly do you see, not a lot of bass singers have the vocal range that goes as far below the bass clef as it is. So it makes sense to look for the closest B to the bass clef, which is this one. So overall, apart from just a few notes that were missed, this was a good, this was an excellent performance, I will say. So great job, and thank you for letting us use your submission to do this revision. It made our work much faster. So everybody say thank you to Sister Camille. All right, I'll stop sharing that, and then we'll touch on, let's go to the Tonic Solfa lessons we talked about. We have 20 minutes to cover that, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, let's see how we do on that. Let me know if you can see my digital piano. Awesome, thank you. So I'll be writing the solfa notes in the general space where we have the chord name view to help us navigate this section faster. Meanwhile, when I play my piano, you will see the corresponding notes being displayed on the screen to help us. So we're going to use the key of C. Please let me know if you can hear my piano. Awesome, thank you. All right. My pen not connected. Give me just a second to double check on a connection here. Hopefully it works. Let me restart that again. Good. We are back in business. All right. Now you'll see the notes. Whatever note I press will show up on the digital piano. So the first thing I will do is to label some of these notes. Let me do that quickly. See. All right. So for Tonic Solfa, we'll start from Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and the last one, Do. Well, because it's an octave, let's use the small letter D to depict the octave. Okay, I hope you are following thus far. And then if we decide to add an octave to it, the second octave, we'll just continue from the higher Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, and then we have a repetition of the Do. Do. Okay, who do I need to move further away from the others? All right. Hopefully we can manage this for now. Good. So this is what we refer to as tonic solfa, basically on the key of C. When you're on the key of C, let me title it Tonic Solfa. It can be played or it can be used on any key at all. Any key you decide to sing a song on, you can also have Tonic Solfa on that key. So, but for this class, we'll be using the key of C, all right, on key C. And the major scale from which the Tonic Solfa notes derive their names is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, when we are writing the full versions of the Tonic Solfa, you may have something like D-O-H for Do. Some authors may decide to omit the H and just keep the D-O only. All right, so but I like to keep the extra note, the extra letter. Of course, when you are speaking in musical terms, everything is a note. All right, so we have the Do, and then followed by Re, I like to spell it as R-E. Some may use R-A-Y. All right. Then this is followed by me, M-I, not the M-I musician. There's an M-I musician in Nigeria. And then that's followed by Fa, F-A-H. And after Fa, we have Sol. And then we have La. And the next note after La is a T-I. And then we have the high octave Do. Okay? Now, when whatever exercises we're doing today will just stay within the confines of the major scale. In subsequent sessions, we can now dive into the sharps and the flats of the tonic solfa. That's when we now talk about the chromatic tonic solfa. So, but right now, this is tonic solfa on major scale. All right, so this is what we have as our tonic solfa. Now, in order to simplify things for ourselves when writing a song, we don't have to write out the complete spelling of D-O-H, R-E-M-I, F-A-H, and so on. So we'll just simply stick to the first letter names, the first letters of the tonic solfa, and just take Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Now, whenever we decide to use all small letters to represent the tonic solfa, a good practice will be to add like an apostrophe sign on the last Do, denoting that this is an octave, like this. Okay? Now, in a situation where we span the tonic solfa, we span it over two different octaves, like this. Do, Re, Mi, Fa. So every other note that comes after that initial octave Do, every other note must carry that tiny little sign to indicate that that's an octave note, making it different from the initial notes that you have when we first started. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So from that Do, Re, Mi, Fa, each one of them is going to carry that apostrophe sign. So, all right, to just help us differentiate that, okay, this is an octave Do. So, La, and then we have Ti. So can someone guess, how do we represent the next octave, the third octave Do? We're just simply going to write the Do as usual, but this time around, we'll give it raised to power 2, raised to power 2 of the apostrophe sign. So this is what it's going to look like. 2 octave tonic solfa major scale. Let me see if I can. So I'll shorten the word by removing tonic and major, two octave solfa scale. That should do. So this is what the 2-octave looks like. And it can keep going higher. Now, if the note is going to be to the left-hand side of this note, of the beginning do that we have, this is what's going to happen there. So, assuming we have a T on this side, if we have a T on this side, and then we're going to have a La, all right? What do we do to signify that these notes are lower octave? So just like this, Do, Ti, La. So in this case, this tiny little sign that looks like an apostrophe that we place on the upper right-hand side of the octave tonic solfa, this time around we're going to place it on the lower right-hand side like this of any lower octave note. Is that clear enough? See where I position them? That's what makes you know that this is low octave, main range, high octave. Okay? So I'll just do L, low octave, high octave. So that's the low octave, and then over here we have the high octave. Good. Now, if you're able to mute yourself, feel free to mute yourself and do this exercise with me. But if you can't mute yourself, that's totally fine. You can stay if you can't unmute yourself, you can stay muted, but try to do the exercise along with us. So I want us to sing the 2-octave tonic solfa. Don't worry about the low octave section. We're just going to start from the main point. So where I have this green arrow or red arrow starting from. Good. From the green arrow, let's do this 2 octaves. And I'll have a piano backing us up. All right. After the count of 3, 2 octaves. So start from your low octave. Do. 1, 2, 3, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Let's do that one more time. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Downward scale. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Awesome. So that's the tonic solfa in 2 octaves. All right. So every song, any song at all that has been composed in any dialect, in any language, in any culture around the world can be transcribed using the tonic solfa. Okay. Let's see. One of the simplest songs that we normally use is, "O Lord my God, how excellent is your name in all the earth, how excellent is your name." So I'm going to use that one for us and then give us a second one that we'll work on it together. We should be able to do that in the next 10 minutes. So please pardon me. I'm going to borrow about extra 10 minutes of our time. Let me see. Did I miss anything on the messages? Oh, all right. Don't worry about the screen. All right, that's awesome. I'm glad you have a copy of it. So, and then by the time we upload the video later on, you can also use that to review your work. All right. So, for the sake of those who may not know the song, but I'm hoping that everyone from West Africa should know this song. Oh Lord, my God, how excellent is your name in all the earth. How excellent is your name. Oh Lord, my God, how excellent is your name in all the earth. How excellent is your name. All right, so that's the song. Now, to transcribe it into Tonic Solfa, that's how you get to play the melody of the song. Most of the time, the basic tonic solfa of any song gives you the melody of that song. Okay, that's always your starting point when you're transcribing a song. Look for the melody first and foremost. If you're learning a new song, try to find the melody of the song. What will treble or soprano or whichever part, if they are swapping parts, which part is singing the melody. That should be your focus point. After you've established the melody, then you can begin to work on the harmony. So the simple exercises we're working on in this session, we're going to focus on the melody of the song. All right. Now, the song sounds this way. Okay. Now, because it's one of those popular worship tunes, the second line can be sung in two different ways. Some people sing it as, "Oh Lord my God, how excellent is your name in all the earth." Okay? While some other people sing it as, "In all." So you can either do "in all" or you do "in all." So for the sake of this lesson, we're going to stick to "in all the earth. How excellent is your name." So, first two lines of the song. Let me see how I can write this out. Okay. So, as we're playing it, we'll be writing it out alongside. How did I move my notes? Oh, I see what happened. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. You see where I started from? I started from Do. So we had Do. I think the red is brighter on the screen, so let's go back to red color. fa, do, fa, fa, mi, do, fa, fa, mi. Then the next line, how excellent is your name. So you try to listen out for how the notes of the song, how are they moving, how are they flowing on the scale? Are they going too high or they are just very, very close by? This is the reason why I always encourage everybody, if you are into music, no matter what your primary instrument of focus is, learn the basics of piano. Know some little fundamentals on the piano in addition to your music theory. So this is going to help you to also figure out when you are composing a song or when you are scoring a song. All right, do, fa, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi. You see the notes that I'm pressing on the piano on the screen. So we're gonna have mi, re, re, three re's repeated. Do, re, mi. Okay, and then we'll go to the next line. In all the earth, which is mi, fa, fa, mi, fa, fa, mi. And then last line, mi, re, do, ti, do. Mi, re, do, ti, do. So about the do, ti, do, you see that I switched to a lower octave. So this T right here, we needed to give it the low apostrophe sign. In this case, I had to use a comma sign because I'm not writing it with my hand. So, but that's to give us an idea of where it should be and what it should look like. Do, ti, do. Okay. Now, if you look at what I wrote out, I put some dash in between certain notes. Those are your rest spaces. That's where you get to rest and taking a breath before you continue singing. Oh Lord, rest, my God, rest. How excellent is your name. Rest in all rest, the earth rest. How excellent is your name. I hope that's clear enough. All right, now I want us to sing it together. Don't sing the lyrics of the song, but rather sing the text on the screen. Okay, so let's try that together. 1, 2, go. Oh, do, fa, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi, fa, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. One more time. Do, fa, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi. Rest. Mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. I hope that's simple enough. Any questions on that? Hopefully no questions. All right. Now, whenever we are singing this song in Nigeria, most especially, we always medley the song with another popular worship song, Jehovah, You Are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High God. So that's the second song that we'll touch on quickly. And then I'll give us a take-home assignment to work on 2 songs on your own and try to submit before next week, Saturday. All right? Jehovah, you are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High God. Jehovah, you are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High God. Mi re do, la 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 do. Mi re do, ti ti ti. Mi re do, mi re do, la 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 do. Mi re do, ti ti ti. Mi re do. That's Jehovah, you are the Most High. So let me write that out over here. Mi re do, la 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 do. Next line. Mi re do, ti ti ti. Mi re do. So there are 2 ways we can approach this particular song. Either we are singing it on the very high octave or we are singing it on the low octave. So either one you choose to use, you are correct about it. For example, if I sing Jehovah, Jehovah, you are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High God. If I do that, the positions of my low octave notes is going to be the la, 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 and then ti, ti, ti. You are the Most High. Because take a look at where it's going to fall on the piano roll. Jehovah, you are the Most High. You see where it goes? It goes further backwards to the left-hand side. So that's the low octave. So I will have to put the low octaves on the la, 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 la. But if you decide to sing it on the high octave as a soprano, as an alto singer, instead of singing Jehovah, you'll be singing Jehovah. So if you are singing Jehovah, you are the Most High, then you can decide to put your high octaves on the first 3 notes. So you can decide to put your high octaves here. Mi, re, do, la, 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 do. And then you go over here. Mi, re, do, ti, ti, ti. When you get to the next one, mi, re, do again. Mi, re, do. You have to repeat that. So, but we have this la, 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 do, and ti, 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 mi, re, do. Those are ti, 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 mi. Oh, so one is missing or not properly positioned. All right, good. Now that looks fine. So this is what you'll have if you're a soprano singer. This is what it will look like for you. Jehovah, you are the Most High. Jehovah, you are the Most High God. Mi, re, do, la, 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 do. Mi, re, do, ti, 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 mi, re, do. Okay? So the last thing I will do before I let us go is to find a way that my text is not reducing in size. This is Jehovah, you are the Most High. And then, let me see. Let me delete this and create room for the other title. We title this, "Oh Lord, my God." Oh Lord, my God, how excellent is your name. And then we need to have a line separating these two songs, so that we'll know where one song ends and where the next song begins. Okay, so this is what I have for us tonight. Your homework is this: select two simple worship songs. It could be in any tribe, any language, English, any your personal language, it doesn't matter. Any two songs of your choice, and try to figure out the tonic solfa just like we did. Okay? Sing the song to yourself. If you have a digital piano app on your phone, go to that piano app and try to use it to trace which note sounds like what I am singing in the song. To simplify it for yourselves, stick with the key of C, okay, for this beginning exercise. Stay on key C and work on this exercise. But if you believe that your skills have advanced enough to if your skills have advanced enough to try it on a different key, that's totally fine. Go ahead and do it on any key that you choose to do so. But work on two songs, transcribe the tonic solfa notation, and then let's have that ready before next weekend. I used to have a music student some years ago who was having this challenge with tonic solfas. He couldn't really figure out or understand how to transcribe notes to tonic solfa. So I decided to put him on a journey of 50 songs tonic solfa transcription. So we started transcribing 50 songs. By the time we got to song number 20, he was already good enough to attempt almost any song that I throw at him. So it's a very good practice, very good exercise for you to keep working on. And before you know it, I believe that before you get to 50 songs, you will have mastered the basic art of transcribing songs to tonic solfa. All right? And eventually you begin to do hundreds of them and even thousands of songs. Okay, any questions before we go? Thank you all for giving me the extra minutes. I appreciate it. And next week we'll start at 2 p.m. Central Time, which will be our regular 9 p.m. in Nigeria and West Africa, or UK time, I believe. Hopefully they've not switched their time on you guys too. All right. I don't see any question coming in, so I hope that everyone understands what we've done today. I will do my best to upload this as soon as possible so that you can go over the lessons we did today, go over the revision, and go over the tonic solfa exercises. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Same time, same place, 9 p.m.
So I have a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the class, sir. I really learned a lot. So my question is, I noticed on the sofas, at some point there are two dots, and then some point there are one dot. Please, can you throw more light to the dots, sir?
Awesome. That's a very, very good question. So the dots that we have there represents one note of rest. For example, if you're having 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes we can use the notes to represent how the dots are representing what type of notes that we are singing in the tonic solfa, that we're representing with the tonic solfa. So in this case, one dot represents a 16th note. Let me quickly pull up a page for you that will help you. So in your music theory book, I believe we didn't get to that last week, but we will eventually get to that note, to that page where we explained the different types of notes. So if some of you have come across, minim, semi-breve, quaver, semi-quaver. So one dot is referring to the 16th note, which is your eighth note in this case. Sorry, one dot is referring to your eighth note for this particular exercise, and then two dots is you are doubling the eighth note. Let me go over that again on this page, and then I'll show you the corresponding page. In your textbook, if you go to page 14, that's where you have them. Okay? So you can either choose to use either a quarter note on your page 14 or an eighth note. So, but for this exercise, I was using the eighth note to represent each dot. That's the type of note I was using. So, but when you see two dots, it means you are able to extend or sustain that note. Let's say, oh Lord my God. Yeah, that's where we have two dots at the end of the last note. Do, fa, mi, re, re, do, re, mi, 2, 3, in all the earth, 3, mi, re, do, ti, do. You see my do landed on two of my counts. Do, 1, 2, before a rest will come in again. So, but when I started it, do, fa, you see that do is one dot, fa is one dot. Okay, and then after the fa, I have one dot followed by the rest. Do, fa, dot, rest. Fa, mi, dot, rest. Mi, re, do, re, mi, dot, rest. Mi, fa, dot, rest. Fa, mi, dot, rest. Mi, re, do, ti, do, rest, rest. Or you just sustain the do within the 2 count. So that's what I tried to do there to help us write it in a more legible manner. And where you have 3 dots, it means you have to make use of 3 length of whatever note you are using, either a quaver note, or an eighth note, okay, which will either be a crotchet or a minim. Now, one of those terminologies is being used by Europe to describe those musical notes. We will try to get to those next week, note values. And then in America, we use whole notes, half note, quarter note, eighth note, and so on. I hope that explains your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, you're welcome. The pleasure is mine. All right, let me show you where you will find that on. If you go to your PDF note on page 14, that's one of the topics we'll try to cover next week, note values. So you see how we have several types: whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th note. Now some textbook where you have whole note, instead of calling it a whole note, some textbook will refer to it as semi-breve. Okay? And then where you have half note, they refer to it as minim, and then quarter note, crotchet. Hopefully my spelling is correct. And then 8th note is a quaver, and then 16th note is a semi-quaver. We used to have 32nd note, which they call semi-demi-quaver, but it's not used very often, so most of the time people just leave it out. So if you're going through online other resources, you might see either the semi-breve, which is referring to the same note. The semi-breve is the same note as your whole note, okay? Half note is called a minim, quarter note is a crotchet, 8th note is a quaver, 16th note is a semi-quaver, and then 32nd note will look something like this with 3 wings, 1, 2, 3. All right, so this is 32nd because the value of the notes keep climbing higher from whole to half to quarter, 8. But we're going to discuss this next time. Let me not eat up all our time trying to explain that to you right now. So, but try to read up on it on page 14 before we meet next week. Someone said they didn't understand the concept of ledger lines. Okay. Let me find an open space here. Okay, this is where we have them, ledger lines. So basically, we try to establish that the 5 lines and 4 spaces of our staff is not able to contain the whole song that you are trying to sing, your vocal range. Your vocal range can be higher and it can be lower than the 5 lines and 4 spaces. So how do you write on the staff? How do you write whatever song you are singing, like the high octave? Okay. Now take for example, let me try to open this a little bit more. Let's see. Yes. Yes, for example, on this very staff over here. So let's assume that this is our treble clef. Let me change that to red. So this is our treble clef, and we have something like this. Okay, and then this is your E, quite okay.
Yes, sir.
And then this is your F, and this is A, because we are talking about the spaces now, but I just used the first line to establish the A. And then the next space is C. So if you're on the treble clef and you're trying to run the scale of key C, okay, using the tonic solfa that we just learned right now, if you are starting a tonic solfa on the scale of C, moving upwards as a soprano singer, this is what you're going to have. Do, okay, and then you have re on the line, then you have mi on this space, then you have fa on the line, so in this space, So what do? We have to create ledger line. They are imaginary lines, additional lines above the staff to help us put the notes that could not fit into the staff space because they are higher in pitch. Okay, so after the saw, what do? We're going to create a ledger line, which is an imaginary line that continues like this. So it's just like additional lines and spaces, which are actually repetitions of what we have within the 5 lines and spaces. Okay? And it's going to look like this. And then it will look something like this. So from saw, the next note is la on the line. Okay?
Yeah.
And then we're going to have T in the space above the first imaginary line. So we'll put our T right here. And then we'll put Do on top of the next line. So these are all imaginary lines. Okay? Just to help us find where to position those extra notes that could not fit in within this bracket of 5 lines and 4 spaces. So we have to create these lines and position those notes there. So any note that falls outside of this bracket must go on either on a ledger line or on a ledger space, an imaginary space above the treble clef and or the bass clef. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you still have any confusions or questions during the week when revising the work, please reach out to me on the WhatsApp chat group like you did during last week or this week that we're wrapping up. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other questions? One final question before we go. And in the absence of not. In the absence of any. Okay. Thank you very much. God bless you all. I look forward to seeing us next week. You have a good one. Bye.